How about that? Padded Room Radio is back on the air, baby dolls. My name is Darian, or at least that's what I've been going by for the last 47 years. I'm the big boss around these parts, and I've got another week of horror bullshit coming straight to your face holes. It's a solo show, inmates. Ah, shit. That's right, you're stuck with me. I am sorry, okay? I know you're here for Dusty and Monica and the rest of the crew, but it's just me tonight, kids. Dusty, I told to stay home. I told him to stay home. You want to know why? Because my entire family is sick as a dog. I, somehow, have managed to dodge the bullets thus far. I fully expect to wake up Christmas morning feeling like I've been run over by a bus, but until then, I'm still here, and I'm still going to do the show. And I'm still going to hang out. I feel fine. Really, I do. My in-laws are in town. Yay, in-laws. My mother-in-law was up coughing and hacking all night long. Same with my daughter. My wife is just getting over it, whatever the hell it is. But it's still hanging. I mean, she's on the upswing, but she's still not doing as good as she could be. So, yeah, it's just me. I'm the only able-bodied American man in this house. As ever, my son. My son seems okay, too, I should say. But, yeah, it's just me. Monica actually is preparing for a road trip in the morning. Family vacation. She's going to go pick up a puppy, of course. Bring it home with her. Another Malamute. God damn it. Things the size of a motorcycle, but that's all right. And that's why you're stuck with me all by my lonesome tonight, kids. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I know. I don't want to be here either, but here we are, and we're doing it together. We got the usual shit show going on here. How's the holidays treating you guys? I don't know why I'm getting ahead of myself. You guys good? You get your shopping done, all that stuff? What do you got? You got family in town? Ugh. It's a thing, man. I don't mind my in-laws being here. Sometimes I like to go out in the living room naked, all right? My kids have seen everything I got. So has my wife. They don't care. They just tell me to get out of the way of the TV. But at the same time, I don't want to embarrass anybody, and I don't think anybody really wants to see me naked at this point in my life. Or at least if they do, I would direct them to my OnlyFans page, and for the low price of $14.99 a month, they can get all of the daring that they want and some more. The link will be posted in the show notes. That's all I'm saying. All right, anyway, I hope everything's going well with you guys. Everything's going smoothly. I'm desperately hoping that Amazon shows up tomorrow, because tomorrow's Christmas Eve, right? I'm recording this on the 23rd, so if they don't show up tomorrow, I'm going to have some disappointed individuals come Christmas morning. Let's hope for the best. I hope you guys planned a little bit better than I did. We got a regular horror show to get into here, though, you motherfuckers. We got listener mail. We got horror news. We got all the usual crapola that we do every week. So why don't we kick it right off? We'll kick it right in the fucking nuts with some horror news. God damn it, right to pow! Right in the nuts.
Horror news.
Yes, sir. Oh, what do we got coming at us here? You remember last week I told you about not one, not two, but 3 different Popeye-based horror movies that were made in 2025? They're already rolling out the sequels. I didn't watch it, but Shiver Me Timbers is one of them. And Shiver Me Timbers 2 is already in the photography phase. It's going to feature both Tarzan and Betty Boop. Now, I watched Popeye's Revenge last week. We talked about it on last week's show. How much fucking Popeye-based horror do you need? Now we're getting sequels to these goddamn... Okay, maybe I could be out of line here. Maybe I watched the bottom of the barrel of Popeye-based horror. First off, who the fuck asked for Popeye-based horror movies? I know. We got the Mickey Mouse and we got the Poonaverse and we got all that horse shit. And now people are thinking, well, I'm just going to dredge up some old, crusty public domain property and turn it into some kind of a nonsensical horror movie and make a lot of money. Well, apparently it's working because that's the new trend. God damn it. And now we have a Popeye horror trilogy. This one's going to have Tarzan and Betty Boop. I'm not going to watch Shiver Me Timbers. I watched Popeye's Revenge. That fulfilled my quota of Popeye-based horror movies, probably for the rest of my life. Has anybody seen Shiver Me Timbers yet? Is that the one that I need to watch? Did I pick the wrong Popeye-based horror movie? God damn, again? Oh, shit. All right. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch a sequel. I don't care about Tarzan or Betty Boop either. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. The release date has been bumped up 2 weeks to March 27th. Now, this one I will watch. Did you guys see Ready or Not with, was it Samara Weaving or Margot Robbie? I think it was Samara Weaving. I'm telling you, I think they're the same fucking person, dude. They look exactly the same. I can't tell them apart at all. But I liked Ready or Not. I'll check out Ready or Not too. That's something to look forward to. Here's something not to look forward to. Trailers are up for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Shark. Did I not just say that we're dredging up old crusty nostalgia and slapping a horror movie moniker on it and rolling it out for a paycheck? That's exactly... I did not waste my time with the trailer for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Shark. I tell you right now, it's about a guy who drinks a potion, turns into a shark, or some kind of a shark, shark man situation. Why? Did anybody out there ask for this? Who was in the pitch meeting when Clayton from R&D raised his hand and said, "What if we did like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but instead of, just a crazy guy, he turns into like a shark monster." You know what I'm saying? Somebody should have told Clayton to shut his fucking mouth and go back to R&D or wherever he came from, accounting. I don't know. That's a bad idea, dude. And I'm not going to watch it. Is this getting stupider and stupider? It feels like it. It's getting harder and harder to find like a legit, like actual movie that's trying to scare and disturb you. Instead, what we get is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Shark. Grr! Whatever, man. I don't know why I shouldn't have even brought it up, because now you guys are probably curious. Oh, I'm going to check out the trailer. It might be interesting. Maybe I can get real high and watch it. It'll be hilarious. Don't support this shit, people. Teasers are out for the Fairfield County 4, starring Joe Bob Briggs. I said trailer. It was really more of a teaser. It doesn't show much. What I gathered from it is that it's some kind of a found footage werewolf situation. Love me some Joe Bob Briggs. Probably check this out. It's real easy to fuck up a werewolf movie. And it's been done many, 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 many times. If you can't... Don't show me a jack-off werewolf. You know what I'm saying? Don't show me, like, Late Phases, the Golden Girl werewolves. Those were dumb. That was a pretty good show right up until that point. Rewatching Ginger Snaps, at a certain point, I mean, Catherine Isabel is hot when she's like halfway there, But at a certain point, when she starts getting more and more into the werewolf, she just look a little silly. You know what I mean? She's got the little nub tail thing going on. Get out of here. I hope they don't fuck it up with Joe Bob Briggs. Lastly, it looks like the entire Saw franchise is presently streaming on Peacock. If anybody wants to catch up on the Saws or is wanting to revisit some of the old Saws, what's your favorite Saw movie? I still say Part 2 for me, just because of that hypodermic needle pit that is funky. But I also have a weak spot for Saw 5, which is basically just gonzo horror with these crazy torture devices and what a bunch of ass clowns they are when they find out if they had just worked together, they could have all gotten out. But that's neither here nor there. The whole goddamn thing is streaming on Peacock if you want to do some kind of a Christmas Day Saw marathon. I don't know that that's the franchise I'd go with for a Christmas horror marathon. It definitely would not be Silent Night, Deadly Night, because that one went off the rails really fast. But that's really the only Christmas horror franchise, right? What was that? Christmas Horror Story. It's only one movie, but it's a pretty good show, and it's an anthology. That might be a good one. All right, I'm going off on a tangent. That's all I got on the horror news. You guys ready for some listener mail? I know I am.
Listener mail.
Yeah, buddy. We got emails and voicemails, all kinds of shit coming at us. How about start things off on the email front? Hey, here's a blast from the past. It's our old man Steve from NorCal. What's up, Stevesy? Subject line, season's greetings. Hey, all. It's been quite a while. I hope everyone is doing well. Just thought I'd drop in and say what's up and chime in on the Terradome. I'm going to have to agree with Dusty and go with the witches. Yeah, I figured that. I think this is going to be a blowout, Stevesy. Go with the witches. They're probably going to use some sort of magic and outsmart the inbred Sawyers. I think that I can't think of an argument or a scenario or any kind of weird, maybe a post-apocalyptic. I don't understand. I cannot find a way for the Sawyers to win, which is going to be very disappointing if they actually do win and I have to come up with a way. That might be, it might be a little wacky. I was going through my photos and found this gem. Merry Christmas, everyone, and have a Happy New Year, Steve. Hey, you too, Steve. Oh, he sent us the crying Jordan photo. Back when we had our YouTube show, Steve did a screen grab of me and Monica and Buddy, and he replaced all of our faces with crying Jordan wearing a Santa hat. That's a good one, man. That's one of my favorites. You can put that crying Jordan face on just about anything, and I'll just get a chuckle out of it. Right on, Steve. Thanks for writing in, amigo. Let's see here. Looks like we got some voicemails coming at us. It's our main man in Alabama. Alan's in the house.
Padded room. What's up?
What's up, Alan?
Everybody's doing good. I know I'm probably late.
Nah, you made it.
Terradome, give me the Coven, Mr. Darien. You sounds like the Green Inferno.
You got me.
Anyway, calling fresh out Psych Ward. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody has an awesome Christmas. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Beautiful. Thanks for calling in, Alan. Fresh out of the Psych Ward, huh? That sounds interesting. I may have spent a little time myself in the old safety cell. That's a story for another time, though. I didn't call this show The Padded Room for nothing, Alan. You're in like company. Looks like that's all we got on the listener mail. Thank you very much, Alan and Stevesy. You guys are champions. You know that. Hope you both have Merry Christmases and Happy New Year's. Am I going to talk to you again before the New Year? I think I will, right? I think we got one more Tuesday. I don't know. I don't have a calendar. I believe I will, so have a Merry Christmas, though. Hope you guys are ready for this, and you get whatever the hell you asked for. Whatever, man. I don't care. I guess it's movie time, then. It's going to be a short show, dude, so it's just me, and... yeah, so short show tonight. Sorry. Let's do a movie.
I won't be ready by then. I've got one last patient. I know it's late, but this is someone new. I couldn't say no. I haven't treated you before, have I? You look familiar.
We have so many questions. We who are gathered here. Nicholas, my precious. Will you help us?
Come on, Catherine Durant, Georgia Jackson.
Leave me alone, man.
They're dead, you know that?
So people die, it happens every day.
They were decapitated.
What?
How do you know my name?
I saw it on the news.
Aura, you're all alone now, and I must take care of you.
Some other soul is here with us tonight. Trying to break through.
Whose face? You saw him. Tell me, whose face, Aura?
How do you know all this?
Because I watch Oprah and Donahue. Doesn't everybody?
Yes, sir. It is Trauma from 1993. Got 5.8 stars on IMDb. Directed by Dario Argento. Written by Franco Farini. Stars Christopher Rydell, Asia Argento, and Piper Laurie. Oh, God. This one gets a little icky, sticky with the touchy-feelies and weird, possibly inappropriate stuff going on here. I'm going to preface this by saying I did the research, and Asia Argento was actually 18 during the time of the filming of this movie. That being said, as the dialogue of her character takes place, she clearly states that the character is 16. Youch. We're just going to have to chalk this up to being 1993 and a very European director and father in Dario Argento. And I guess the Italians are a little more loosey-goosey with their statutory rape laws and things of that nature. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we start off with... This is a classic giallo, or it's an attempt to be a classic giallo with, I guess, more of a modern twist. Our story takes place in St. Paul, Minnesota, so there's that to start with, but it still feels very Italian. We start off with killer POV of a chiropractor, African-American young lady. She lets her new patient in and says, let me get you to fill out this paperwork. I've never treated you before. Looks like you got a herniated disc, very painful. But she's like, you look very familiar. Now, this is a giallo, so you're getting all of this through the eyes of the killer. And the chiropractor's like, yeah, you seem really familiar, and I don't know. And then out of nowhere, our killer, with black leather gloves, of course, just hits the chiropractor in the head with a hammer and knocks her down, and then pulls out a very strange device. I don't know what the fuck this thing was or what it was supposed to be used for, but it looks like a hammer. It's not a hammer because, all right, picture like Thor's original hammer, Mjolnir, but it's got a wire coming out of the sledge part that goes around to the bottom of the handle. And then there's like a weird trigger device, and when you pull the trigger, the wire basically constricts, and I guess to a point of being able to cut through flesh and bone and sinew and spinal cord and everything else that's in a person's neck. So after our chiropractor gets hit in the head with an actual hammer, she's just kind of laying on the floor dazed, and then our killer pulls out this Mjolnir device and throws the switch on it and decapitates the chiropractor, and that's that. Very creepy. The chiropractor also had a pet gecko lizard, which is kind of cool. Not something you'd think to see in a chiropractor's office, I guess. But that's going to come into play later. Now, something very striking about this movie that I found, and I'm not going to tell you yet if I liked it or not, because it's just so fucking weird. I felt like this was Dario Argento's attempt at making a David Lynch movie. So, for example, there's a lot of David Lynchian shots, this one in particular. After the chiropractor gets killed, we get like a 3-minute close-up of the gecko lizard in the terrarium there in the chiropractor's office. Later on, this gecko is going to push our story along, but not to any degree that we really care about. It's very David Lynchy, and a lot of the directing is kind of David Lynchy. It has a kind of a Pacific Northwest feel that David Lynch loves. I don't know, man. It just felt very David Lynch by way of Verona, Italy, I guess, in a weird way. All right, so that's interesting. We got our first kill of the movie. Now we're going to cut to presumably the next morning. We got a young man driving to work. His name's David. He's going across the bridge. There's a bridge there. And as he's going across this bridge, he sees a young girl hop the hand railing and like stand on the outer bank of the bridge or whatever the trestle is there, like she's going to throw herself off the bridge. So he pulls over and he goes and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she's like, "No, just let me die." It's Asia Argento. And this was probably, had to be one of her first acting roles because she does not do a very good job of acting in this entire movie. But I think to cut her some slack, English was probably a second language to her, and she's probably still learning a little bit. And I don't know, maybe some of this was dubbed now that I think about it. But she's like, "No, let me jump." And he's like, "No, come on, what are you doing?" And she's like, "No, just let me jump. I just want to jump. Come on, let me jump." I realize I sound more French than Italian. He's like, "No, you're not going to jump. Come on, get out of here. Hey, come on, get off the bridge. Here we go. Come on, get in the truck." She gets in his truck. As he's helping her over the hand railing, he sees, number one, she's got track marks all up and down her arms, like she's some kind of junkie. Number two, she has this weird bracelet that's like a snake with two heads, one on each end, and it's like coiling itself around her. That's going to come into play later also. And he's like, "Hey, that's a nice bracelet. Come on, I'm going to buy you breakfast." So they hop in his truck, and he takes her to breakfast. And he's like, what is the matter with you? Why are you trying to jump off the bridge? And she's like, "None of your business. I just tried to, I don't want to, I run away from my home, and I don't want to go back." And he's like, "Well, I see you got some track marks there. If you need help with the drugs, getting off drugs, I was on drugs once, and I can help you with that." And she's like, "No, you leave me alone." And eventually she hauls ass, and as soon as she does, he realizes that she somehow stole his wallet. So she goes peeling off out of there, and he's like, what the fuck? But in the midst of this conversation, he's like, "What are you, 14, 15, something like that?" And she's like, "No, I am 16 years old." Now, okay, let's get something a little straight here. I can't say for sure what's going on. But she says, clearly, her character states, the character's name, by the way, is Aura. Interesting, right? Aura. The character states that she is 16 years old. However, something is going to happen in the next, 10, 20 minutes that's going to suggest that she may be older and trying to convince people that she's younger. I'll get to that in a second. As soon as Aura leaves the little breakfast place there, she starts, speed walking down the street, and David's like, "Hey, get back here." But then these two random guys in suits roll up on her, and they're like, "All right, Aura, get back in the car. We're taking you back." And she's like, "No, I don't want to go." So they're like, "No, you got to go." They throw her in the car. I realize my Italian accent sucks, but this is the way that the character is played. It's very strange. "No, I don't want to go with you." So you get her in the car, and they take her back to her parents' house. Okay, so her parents live somewhere there in St. Paul. They're played by, one of them is Piper Laurie, and she plays a medium, and her dad is there also, and they live in this huge house. It's like a mansion, and they get her inside, and they're like, "Hey, we found your daughter for you." And, "Oh, thank you very much." Piper Laurie actually looks fairly attractive in this movie for being, Carrie's mom and everything. But she's like, "Okay, get upstairs. You stay in your room." And there's, "No, I don't want to stay in my room." And she's like, "Well, you got to stay in there because I got a big seance tonight, so I need to, get ready for that." And her dad is like, "Come on, make your mother happy, huh? Come on now, hey." So they lock Aura in her room. And now, while they're getting ready for their big seance, we're going to cut back to David. Now, David has a job with the local news affiliate, I guess, for 9 o'clock news or something. I don't know what exactly he does because it just shows him drawing pictures in like a news corporate office setting. Is he like a news artist or something? Was that ever a real job that you could do? You just draw pictures for the news? I don't know, but he's like drawing pictures. And this is where we're going to find out that there is a rash of beheadings going on here in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And it's they've dubbed this serial killer the Headhunter because, he's killing people and cutting their heads off. And the heads have never been found. They're just finding decapitated bodies. And they presume that this wire apparatus, this Mjolnir hammer, is the the underlying factor that links all these dead guys together with their heads off. Okay. Well, that's interesting. And because of that, David is there, and he's drawing pictures of guys with their heads cut off. So, very cool. We're going to meet one of David's co-workers, one of the news anchors, lady by the name of Grace. She's a 90s sleazy bitch. You know what I mean? She's like, "Oh, I'm going to fuck my way to the top, but I'm going to fuck you too, David, because I like to fuck," or something. I don't know. She's got some sleazy dialogue, and there's like a producer there, and he's a scumbag too. He's got his hair all slicked back. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to do coke off a girl's tits. Yeah." And she's like, "I'm going to fuck you, and you're going to give me a promotion." All this movie needs is Ellis from Die Hard, and it can be one of the sleaziest movies ever. All right, it's stupid. Anyway, basically, Grace and David are fuck buddies, but we'll get more into that later. Good for them. Glad they're having fun at work. From there, David goes to work a couple of days, and then he comes out, and while that was happening, we get to the big seance happening at Aura's parents' house. Big deal. Big goings-ons. I think we have to assume that Aura's mom actually is a medium because she gets in there and she's got everybody holding hands, like a bunch of other people show up. And they start rolling tape. I guess they're tape recording this. And Piper Laurie goes into her trance. And then she's like, "There is a killer in this room. And they have killed and they will kill again. And the name of the killer." And in the meantime, everybody's screaming and freaking out. And the lights go, all the candles get blown out. And just as she says, "The killer is," and then a tree limb crashes through a window, Evil Dead style, and everybody screams and freaks out and just goes running off in separate directions. And now there's like this big rainstorm happening outside with thunder and lightning. While that's going on, Aura, who's been locked in her room, manages to break free of her room and goes down like a fucking I don't know, irrigation pipe or something. She like shimmies down to the ground floor, and she goes hauling ass out of there. I don't know why she's in such a hurry to not be there with her parents. They seem all right to me, other than being weirdos. Her dad spots her and goes hauling ass after her through like the courtyard area. And that's when our killer with the wire apparatus catches up to him and puts the Mjolnir hammer wire retractor thing around his neck and kills Aura's dad. Okay. While that's going on, we see Aura's mom haul ass. Aura comes around the corner and sees a decapitated lady. And then as she looks up through the rainstorm, she sees what appears to be the killer holding mom's head. Well, we're going to assume it's mom's head in one hand and dad's head in the other, and then go running off into the bushes. So we're going to assume for a good chunk of the movie that the dead lady without the head there in the courtyard area was Aura's mom, and then that was her dad that we saw get decapitated. So Aura is now an orphan. Shit. And the, what do you call there? The headhunter has struck again. A double header. See what I did there? All right. Well, that sucks. And now Aura's an orphan. She didn't know what to do. Now, up to this point, there had been several mentions of her going back to the quote-unquote Faraday clinic. And I think what we're led to believe here is that Aura is bulimic. And there is a weird, almost cryptic backstory to this movie, and one shot in particular that is almost I don't know, just grim in a weird way. I'll explain it when we get to the end here. But anyway, I guess we have to assume that she is bulimic, and that's why they kept taking her to the Faraday clinic, which is, I guess, some kind of a mental health clinic there in St. Paul. One of her main doctors happened to be there at the seance. And I think the idea was that when the seance was over, the doctor was going to take Aura back to the Faraday clinic and get her away from her parents until she could start eating normally again, I guess. I don't know. It's very strange and doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, well, that's interesting. Now we cut back to David. A couple of days of work go by. The news breaks of the double murder at the weird seance. So they're chalking that up to the headhunter. Very cool. David is leaving work, and he walks out of his office, and he comes across Aura, who has been on the run for a couple of days. She's like, "Hey, I got your address from your driver's license, and now I don't know what to do." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, I know what it's like to be alone on the streets. Come on, you could crash at my place." And she's like, "Okay, but we have to go back to my place first to get some clothes and things like that." So he's like, "Okay." I know exactly how stupid I sound when I do that ridiculous accent. They go back to her place. They have to sneak around because it's now a crime scene, and it's very dark and very creepy. And for some reason, the doctor from the Faraday clinic, Dr. Judd, is there. And why is he there? It's a couple of days after the murder. He's rooting around, looking through papers and shit. Aura's like, "Oh no, if he sees me, he will take me back to the clinic." And Dave's like, "Okay, come on." So they get a couple of outfits and stuff, and then they get back to Dave's truck and get out of there. Very tense situation. Very, very scary things going on. From there, we get back to Dave's place, and David apparently is making quite a living for himself as a news artist because he's got himself a house on a lake. Pretty sweet little setup here too. And this is the part that I'm curious about. And if anybody else has seen this movie, I would love to get your opinion on this because, all right, now, Asia Argento, at the time of the filming of this movie, was 18 years old, which is perfectly legal in the United States in most jurisdictions. Now, this scene takes place. They get to Dave's house. She's walking around, "I'll stay in your guest room." And he's like, "Yeah, the bathroom's right there if you want to freshen up." She goes into the bathroom, leaves the door open, of course, pops her shirt off, and she appears to have, I don't know, it kind of looked to me like she had a ace bandage wrapped around her boobs, to make them look like she didn't have, she wanted to look like she was 16, but needless to say, she pops her boobs out, and she is quite voluptuous, and you do get to see the full situation, if you understand what I'm saying. And so now I'm thinking, and maybe I'm just trying to make myself feel like less of a pervo, but was she actually older than 16 and she was just trying to appear 16? That's why she had her tits all ace bandaged up? Or was that just like a weird bra that chicks wear? I don't know. If you've seen this movie, I would love to hear your opinion. Area code 775-387-0275, or shoot me an email, mail@paddedroompodcast.com. Back to the tits. Dave sees it, and she's like, oh, you're looking at my tits. And he's like, oh, sorry, and takes off down the hall. All right, interesting. And now we have like a weird, borderline inappropriate romantic situation going on between Dave and Aura. And it's okay, I guess. Well, I don't know, man. It's 1993. Is she 16? Is she 18? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Everything. I mean, they're laying low is what's happening, and Dave is still going to work. He's leaving Aura there at his house. Unfortunately, they are not having sex at this point, and I can tell you this because they're sleeping separately. Dave is like taking the couch, and Aura's taking his bedroom. At one point, Grace, the sleazy anchor woman, calls Dave up, and she's like, hey, I'm going to come over. I want you to fuck me. And he's like, no, Grace, I got company. You can't come over. And she's like, well, you got another girl over there? And he's like, yeah, maybe I do. You ever think of that? And she's like, well, I'm going to come over there anyway, and you're going to fuck me anyway. So dirty. And he's like, yeah, okay. So Grace comes over, and they start to having sex there in the living room. Aura, of course, wakes up in the middle of it, comes out of the bedroom, and she's like, oh, shit. So she just grabs some clothes and goes hauling ass out into the night. Dave hops in his truck, chases her down, and this is where things get a little weird, because he catches her, and he's like, hey, where are you going? And then she kind of tries to fight him off for a second, but then he just grabs her and starts kissing her, and then she's like kissing him back, and now this could be a thing. I don't know. But now we have to assume that whatever, big brother relationship was going on, it's now like a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. So there's that. Okay, a little bit creepy. A little bit. Now we're going to cut back to maybe a day or two later. I think we have to assume that they are now officially banging, because he's like, oh, hey, I'm going to split for work. Here's some money. And she's like, no, you come back to bed with me. You lay with me, and we'll take each other's clothes off. And he's like, no, seriously, I got to go to work. Here's some money. Go get some food. You got to eat something, so spend this money on food. And she's like, okay, maybe I'll make you dinner tonight. And then he hauls ass. He gets back to work. Apparently, Grace has no problem with him banging whomever, because she's like, hey, Dave, when are we going to fuck? I would love to believe that, high-powered corporate executive females were just that filthy in the 90s. I wouldn't know. I was too young, but I don't know, man. Good stuff. Anyway, Dave gets back to work, and Grace doesn't have a problem with him. But now we're learning a little bit more about things, and we kind of figured out that every time this is Minnesota's rainy season, and between Dave and his little buddy there at the news station, they figure out that every time the weather forecasts rain is when the headhunter strikes. So he's like, oh, shit, okay, I think I got this figured out. How am I going to get to the bottom of who the headhunter is? I don't know, but I can tell you that when and where, or at least when he's going to strike. As he's having this conversation, the phone rings, and it's Aura on the other line, and she's like, oh, no, they found me again. I have to run. And then he's like, oh, shit. So he gets off the phone, hauls ass back to his house. Aura, of course, is not there. She had to haul ass. And now he's like, oh, no, maybe, I always get involved with, emotionally unstable women, especially when they're underage. And, of course, his house is kind of trashed, and, how am I going to find her now? I don't know. And he starts thinking, and he's like, oh, shit, yeah. And then Grace rolls in, and she's like, Yeah, I saw that little slut you were banging. I called the Faraday Clinic because she's clearly anorexic. And by the way, I know that was her parents that got it by the headhunter. And Dave's like, oh no, you called the Faraday Clinic. Shit. And she's like, yeah, I did what any good person would do. She needs help. Now get over here and fuck me. He's like, oh. And so he gets in his truck and hauls ass to the Faraday Clinic. Now we cut to the clinic itself. This place is a little wild. It starts off like in Dr. Judd's office, and he gives, this is very weird, he gives Aura some kind of psychotropic berry, which sends her into like a weird hypnotic thing. And I think what Dr. Judd was trying to do was find out what exactly she saw on the night of the seance. So he's like, what did you see, Aura? What did you see? Tell me. And she's like, oh, everything's weird right now. And then we get like a bunch of Dario Argento flashes of different fucking things and clouds flying by and other colors and things like that. And at some point in this catastrophe, she gets a quick glimpse of Dr. Judd banging Piper Laurie. So she's like, it was you. You were having sex with my mother. How dare you? And he's like, what? No. Who? Me? No. I think you're having a delusion. Get her downstairs to the actual clinic. So they take her and they admit her into the clinic itself, which is kind of, I guess, like a mental institution. They put her, like they strap her down and they sedate her, and they kind of, they restrain her, I guess, but in a very loose kind of fashion. And the nurse that's doing all this is like, okay, sweetie, here we go again. You're going to have to just work with me here because I'm going to put the fucking narcotics in you. And Aura's like, struggling and stuff. While that's going on, this part is very weird. The nurse that's doing that is she like steps out into the hallway, and then we cut to Giallo killer cam with the black leather gloves, and the killer is there in the Faraday Clinic, and he's creeping around, and the nurse comes around the corner and bang with the hammer, and then with the Mjolnir hammer wire apparatus cuts her head off, and that's it for that nurse. Okay. So right now we're down one dad, one mom, one nurse, one chiropractor. So that's 4. Shit. Okay. Scary stuff. As that's going down, though, because David has figured out that the killer is going to strike. Now, okay, how would anybody link the killer to Aura at this point? Other than the fact that she was there when her dad got it from the killer. I don't know. But Dave's like, I'm going to protect her from the killer. So he goes to the Faraday Clinic, and he's like snooping around and like ducking, like, hiding from security guards. And eventually he finds her, unstraps her, gets her out of there. They sneak down. They get into his truck and haul ass. Okay, very, very scary stuff going on here. In the meantime, the killer is now out running around. Okay, good times. From this point, we get back to Aura had like the revelation that Dr. Judd was banging her mom at some point. So she's like, I have to get to the bottom of this. So they go back to her house again, which is this crime scene, because remember they were there earlier and Dr. Judd was like rooting through papers and stuff. So she's like, I'm going to find out what he was trying to find. So they go back there and they start looking around for like all the weird stuff. Now at this point we're going to jump right into David Lynch land again, and we are going to cut to maybe a day or two before, where we have just a random kid like doing some bird watching on butterflies in a very strange way. He's like writing down which species of butterflies he sees. And one of them lands on the kid's neighbor's windowsill. And out from the windowsill comes that gecko lizard that I told you about and eats the butterfly. And then the gecko lizard is like, ha ha, and he goes back into the window of the neighbor's house. The kid, on the other hand, is like, that motherfucking gecko. So he basically breaks into the neighbor's house and starts looking around. The gecko is now like up on a wall. So the kid's like, I'm going to get that fucking gecko because can't be eating butterflies in my neighborhood. He gets up on a chair that has like a box, and he stacks the box on top of the chair to try to reach the gecko, but then he falls. The box comes open, and it's the weird wire Mjolnir apparatus. And he's like, what the hell is that? So he turns it on, and it constricts the wire. He turns it off, and it releases the wire. And he's like, this is very weird. What is this? And then whoever our Giallo killer is comes home, and the kid manages, luckily, to kind of half-ass put the place back together and jump out of the window before he gets caught. Very intense. At this point in the movie, why, what's going on here? But it's going to kind of flesh out a little bit, but still in a very strange way. In a very weird way, dude. Okay. From there, we cut back to David and Aura, who've gotten out of the hospital. They're like, we must go back and look into the house and see what's happening. So they go back to Aura's house, which is still a crime scene. It's all, boarded off and everything. They get down there. They start looking through papers and stuff. They find like some old hospital admission paperwork and stuff like that. And they see that there's like a picture of a doctor and a bunch of nurses, and Piper Laurie's in it too. And they're like, what is this all about? And they start looking at the pictures of the nurses. One of them was the African-American chiropractor. Another one was the nurse that just got it in the Faraday clinic. What's her name? Aura's dad, is also in the picture. So all these people in the picture are being systematically decapitated by the, the headhunter there. We're doing the Scooby Gang math here is what we're doing. Okay, well, they're all connected somehow, and Piper Laurie was also in the picture. She's supposed to be dead at this point. Okay, what the shit is going on? Now, at the center of all these nurses in the picture is none other than Charles Lee Ray himself, Brad Dourif. And he plays Dr. Sloan. Okay, well, we need to talk to Dr. Sloan to find out how all these people are connected and what the fuck is going on with all these people. Mind you, in the span of this movie, we've seen like one police detective ask one guy a question, but this lofty sketch artist for the local news is on the case. And he is making it happen, and he's banging a 16-year-old while he's doing it. Hey, all right, anyway. So they're like, okay, we're going to track down Dr. Laurie here, or Dr. Sloan. So they try to find him. They go back to the hospital, the Faraday clinic. Hey, where's this doctor? Oh, God, we kicked him out. He had some malpractice suits, and then he lost his license to practice. And last I heard, he was living down in the warehouse district doing some other shady shit. So they ask around some more. They said Aura goes back to Dave's house. Dave goes on his own from here. He gets down there. He finds Brad Dourif, who looks like he's about 19 in this movie. And he's like, hey, man, you're Dr. Sloan, right? And he's like, yeah, once a long time ago. And he's like, now apparently he's some kind of a drug dealer, and he's dealing in prescription pills. And he's like, hey, listen, man, all of your old nurses are being decapitated. And he's like, what? Decapitated? Ah, we all gotta die sometime, right, man? Oh. And then he's like, well, okay, what can you tell me? And then, of course, he's like, hey, you leave me the fuck alone. And then he goes running away. But before he does, Dave writes his number on a piece of paper, and he's like, hey, if you want to talk, tell me what the hell's going on here. Here's my phone number. And then Brad Dourif hauls ass. Of course, 13 seconds after he comes around the corner, our killer Giallo guy is on his ass with the wire apparatus. Follows him up. This part was kind of fun because he hits Brad Dourif with the hammer, knocks him down, and then he goes to put the wire apparatus on his neck, and it gets caught in Brad's gold chain. So he's like, ah, shit. So he has to improvise. He just takes him to an elevator shaft, holds it open, calls the elevator to the ground floor, and Brad Dourif gets decapitated that way instead of with the weird wire. What even is that thing? Is it a conduit cutter or something? I'm very curious. I should probably look that up during the break. Anyway, so he's out, and that's pretty scary. Now we cut back to Dave. He gets back to his lakeside villa there, or whatever it is, with Aura, and he's like, hey, I found him, but he didn't want to talk. At this point, out of nowhere, Dr. Judd comes flying through the fucking, like the woods, because it's kind of a rural lake that Dave lives in, flying down the dirt hill. He's like, what the hell? Gets there, gets in a big fight with Brett or Dave in his living room. Aura's screaming and freaking out. Eventually, Dr. Judd is basically trying to abduct Aura. So he's like, come on, you get in the car. I'm taking you back to the clinic. And she's like, no, I do not want to go with you. And Dave's trying to fight him off. In this commotion, somehow the police have been called. So they're all hauling ass towards David's house. The Dr. Judd hops back in his car. He's like, oh no, cops. So he goes flying down like past the cops. The cops start chasing him. At one point, Dr. Judd just loses control of his car and like rolls it and goes like crashes through like a tree and like dies in a car accident. But in doing so, the trunk of his car pops open and all the decapitated heads come out. So the police are there. They're like, what the fuck? Oh, we just caught the headhunter. He's dead. Yeah, awesome. We got the son of a bitch. Look at all these decapitated heads. And that's what it looks like, too, for a hot second. Dave's like, oh, good. That's fucking shit. It's finally over. Goes back to his house, and Aura is gone, but she left a note saying that she was going to be with my mother now. So he's like, oh, no. He thinks that she just walked out into the lake and drowned herself, like she's going to die. So he runs out into the lake, and he's like, Aura! Aura! And he's like diving into the water, trying to find her body, I guess. And then he just kind of wakes up in the hospital a couple of days later, and he's all fucked up. They keep him for a couple of days, and he's like, Did they save her? Did they find her? And they're like, who are you talking about? My girlfriend, she's at the bottom of the lake. No, there's nobody at the lake. So he's like, okay, now this part, we're going right to David Lynch land. They release Dave from the hospital. Dave gets out, immediately calls Grace, the sleazy fuck buddy, and he's like, hey, can you get me some pills? Get me some prescriptions. And she's like, whatever, Dave. So I guess Grace has the hookup on getting prescriptions. So Dave gets some phony prescriptions. He mentioned earlier in the movie that he had drug problems. And he takes them to a pharmacy and gets them filled. And he's walking out of the pharmacy, and the pharmacist is like, hey, this is a phony prescription. So they chase Dave out into the parking lot, like, give me those pills back. And he's like, fuck you. And then the pharmacist punches him square in the face and knocks him out. And then we are going even deeper into David Lynch land, because while Dave is semi-conscious on the sidewalk with blood coming out of his face, he's going, oh, and he's just looking at people's knees as they walk by. And as they walk by, some people are like flipping him off and pointing fingers at him. And finally, somebody walks by wearing that snake bracelet thing that Aura had on. And he's like, oh, Aura! And he gets up and he like staggers after her. And I guess what we have to assume is that he followed her all the way back to her house. But there was no way for, and probably a good 7-8 miles, because we were in a downtown urban setting and now we're in like a suburban neighborhood setting. So he basically just comes to a random house where we spot our towhead kid that was watching the butterflies. And Dave is like, hey, did you see a chick with a bracelet? And would she go this way? And the kid's like, I'm not talking to strangers there, bucko. And he's like, come on, man, I'll be your best friend. Where'd that lady go? And finally the kid points at the neighbor's house, the one with the decapitron or whatever it is. So Dave, being the enterprising individual that he is, goes and knocks on the door. Nobody answers. So he lets himself in. Hey, I'm coming in. I'm now breaking and entering into a completely random stranger's house. He comes around a corner, and who could it be? Piper Laurie, she's alive. She never got killed. She hits him in the head with a hammer, knocks him out, takes him down to the basement, and chains him up. When he comes to, he realizes that he's like in this weird jail cell situation, and he's sharing it with none other than Aura. And she's like, David, I told you not to follow me. I love you so much, but you have to go because it's my mother. And then Piper Laurie comes down, and this is where we get the big explanation of what the fuck is going on here. Make a long story short, she was giving birth to her baby son, Nicholas, and unfortunately, during the birthing process, the doctor or one of the nurses accidentally decapitated the baby. Pulled a little too hard, I guess, and the head came clean off. All the nurses were there. The doctor, who was Brad Dourif, is like, oh, fuck! From what I understand, this used to actually happen quite a bit, to a point where, like, doctors warned you up front, hey, good chance I'm going to rip this kid's head off. I'm just letting you know. That's disturbing. They're like, okay, Jesus. So that happened, and then in an attempt to cover up the accident, well, I think it was also alluded to that Brad Dourif was high on drugs, or the doctor was using drugs during the delivery. But in an attempt to cover it up, his nurses all convinced him to rush Piper Laurie from the maternity ward to the psych ward and immediately administer shock treatment, thinking that it would make her forget that it ever happened. So they do just that, and they convince the dad to go along with it, and that's why she faked her own death. She killed a neighbor lady there during the initial seance, and then has been on a revenge mission ever since. Excellent. The kid with the butterfly thing has, just out of sheer curiosity, snuck in right behind David when he went into the house, and he's now like walking around trying to see what's going on. Now, Aura, in an attempt to keep Piper Laurie from getting into the cell to kill them both, took the chain that Dave had wrapped around his hands and like wrapped it around the cell door. So Piper Laurie is pulling on the cell door, pulling the chain, which apparently there's a stripper pole in the middle of this jail cell. That gets knocked out, which creates a hole in the ceiling. The kid is upstairs with the conduit cutter, sees Piper Laurie stalking towards Aura and David, and the kid just drops the conduit cutter down. Piper Laurie walks right into it. The kid throws the switch and decapitates Piper Laurie. From there, the police show up. They're trying to question Aura, but she's just going, no, I won't answer your questions. And then eventually Dave's like, hey, it's me. Everything's cool. It's safe now. And then the cops all go, hey, give him some space. And they kind of make out there for a second, and that's the end of your movie. Holy cow. Dario, what are we doing here, my friend? I like the moxie of the guy, Dario Argento. I would not put my daughter topless in a movie. I would not want my daughter topless. I like to think she's not going to be topless at all after the age of, 12. But I'm definitely not going to put her bubbies out there for the world to see. Good on you, Dario. That's balls right there. Or possibly some kind of a reverse Oedipal complex. I don't know what that incestuous situation would be. But whatever, man. Good on you. This is a pretty good murder mystery. I realize I just spoiled it for you. Yeah, very strange. Very, I don't know. I don't know if we're supposed to believe that she was actually 18. But back to what the thing I was going to tell you about, which is actually pretty creepy. After the final scene, where David and Aura are kind of making out there during the crimes, as the police are coming out of Piper Laurie's house, some reggae music kicks up. And then if you watch, the camera like slowly pans down the street, And like 2 or 3 doors down, you see a reggae band playing on the front porch of a random house. Now, the weird part about this is that the reggae band is all black men, and that's fine. But in the midst of all these black men playing their weird reggae instruments, there's one white girl who's doing like a very slow dance, and the camera like does a slow zoom in on the white girl. Now, the weird part about this, and it's kind of cryptic if you think about it, the white girl pictured dancing on that porch is actually the daughter of Daria Nicolodi, who was Dario Argento's girlfriend / co-producer / business partner. She was in all the, I think, just about every other movie that we saw this month. She was in Deep Red and Inferno. And the girl that is there would be considered Asia Argento's half-sister, I guess. I don't know. But the weird part and the creepy part is that the character of Aura was based on the daughter of Daria Nicolodi, who had a serious eating disorder. And she's the one pictured dancing. And she unfortunately died less than a year after this movie came out. And the really cryptic foretelling part is, as the end credits are rolling, the camera does a slow zoom in on Daria Nicolodi's daughter, and then like this weird white light hits her, and you just see her dancing like in this crazy bright white light as the scene fades out and you're left with the credit roll. Very strange, man. Very cryptic, almost foretelling. Yeah, right? Very, very weird. It's almost like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, somebody, like maybe Dario foresaw her death or something like that. I don't know, but very, very strange. Anyway, movie itself, I'm gonna say it's okay. It's a giallo. You got to be in the mood for a giallo for this because there's a lot of backstory, and they did kind of send us a red herring in trying to set up the fake death of Piper Laurie in the first act, but it's okay. It's a pretty good show, I'd say, all the way around. Streaming presently on Tubi, if anybody's interested. I'm going to take myself a little break. I'll come back with some other stuff here momentarily in Mace.
Get older, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger than ever. Hour after hour, work is never over. Get over, get over, get over, get over, get over, get over. Our work is never over. Get over, get over, get over, get over, get over, get over. Our work is never over.
Hey inmates, if you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Well, we've got one more week of Dario here, and then we're going to roll into 2026. I'm excited for that. We're doing a new theme for 2026. What we're going to do is remakes versus originals. Every week, every 2 weeks, I suppose, in 2026, we're going to bring you an original. And the following week, we're going to bring you its remake, and then we're going to have a little conversation about which one we like better. We want to know which one you guys like better, obviously. And should be interesting. I think we're going to be surprised by which remakes we actually prefer over the originals. But more on that as we go. Right now, I think it's time for the Terradome.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in. I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy. I'll kill you all. I'll be that brave and my worst dream come true.
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Welcome to the Terradome.
First, last week's winners. In teams competition, we had the Witches' Coven versus the Sawyer family. The family of degenerates were no strangers to desperation, but neither were the ladies of the coven. When the elements of earth and air weren't enough, they would deploy fire in the form of several Molotov cocktails thrown from moving vehicles. Water from the local fire department would end the inferno and the Sawyer clan for good. With a vote of 6-1, the Witches advance over the Sawyers. Yeah, that's a tough one, dude. You know, I like the Sawyers. I like the whole backstory with the, the weird organized crime situation and all that stuff, like the redneck mob. But they're just a bunch of rubes. You know what I mean? Functionally retarded, I would say, for most of them. But yeah, they're big. I mean, Leatherface, obviously, scary dude. But you're gonna do against witchcraft, man. Not a whole lot. Chainsaw isn't gonna cut through a fire demon or something like that. Now, is it? No. All right, let's take a look at this week's matchup, shall we? We are in the Asylum Conference Round 10. As usual, inmates, bear with me. I'm not very good at writing things. Manchester Site 17 was a busy place. Unknown to most of the British Parliament, it was never officially recognized by Interpol or Royal Intelligence. It simply didn't exist, and with good reason. The Western Wing was used for biological weapons and germ warfare. The most recent breakthroughs came in the form of a rage amplifier. Once the serum's virus-like properties could be brought under control, the rage serum could be deployed on the battlefield to produce more aggressive and bloodthirsty soldiers. The northern wing of Site-17 housed less conventional subjects. Currently, the star attraction was of extraterrestrial origin. Small mammalian creatures covered in black fur and sharp quills. Attempts to communicate with the alien life forms had been futile, as every time one was let out of its cage, it simply attacked. At present, 3 of the creatures are unaccounted for and considered at large somewhere inside Manchester Site 17. Teams competition, we have the Critters versus the Infected. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Critters are gonna win this, and I can tell you how easily they will. It's one thing. It's one maneuver. You know what it is? You know what it is. It's the big critter ball, dudes. All the infected are going to see the big critter ball, and because they're infected with rage, they're going to run right toward it. It's going to run over the infected, and that's it. It'll just ba-boom, 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 right down the street. But, I don't know, week and a half, there's no more infected, and the critter ball is the size of one of those Atlas globes or something. I don't know. That's how it's going down. You can't convince me otherwise. But if you feel the need to try, area code 775-387-0275 for the mental health hotline, or shoot me an email, mail@paddedroompodcast.com. Get me your votes by next week if you can. You know you're going to take the Critters too. You have to. It's the logical choice, inmates, okay? That's your Terradome matchup for the week. While you're contemplating that, fight, battle to the death, I'm going to tell you what movies I got to watch this week in a little segment called What Are You Looking At?
What are you looking at?
How about Shelby Oaks from 2025? This one just came out in October. It just hit streaming on Amazon Prime. Pretty good show, I'm going to tell you. It does something that's very interesting. It starts off in a mockumentary found footage type of format, and you get a good half hour of that. And then this event happens, and then from there it jumps into a traditional narrative where you go into, a regular type of a movie. I don't think we've ever seen seen that per se, have we? I mean, I guess we kind of did with Cannibal Holocaust, but this one takes a very supernatural turn. Young lady goes missing. Her sister's trying to find her. Ends up in a ghost town in Ohio, and things get pretty gnarly from there. It's a pretty good show, man. It's definitely worth checking out. I would probably put this on like a Halloween watch list, maybe a 31 for 31. I'll probably snag it on Blu-ray if it ever gets a physical release. You never know. And then I watched another movie. Okay, let me tell you what I do. Okay, this is because I'm gonna tell you the movie I watched, and you're gonna be like, why? Why would you do that? What I do is, okay, first of all, I registered for another full marathon. That has nothing to do with horror movies, but that was stupid because we had a Friendsgiving celebration, and I got hammered like I want to do, and then I convinced 6 of my friends to run a full marathon in May. So immediately I'm like, well, fuck, oh, God, why did I do that? But more to the point, I'm like, well, now I got to get ready for this fucking marathon. What I do is I go to YouTube. There's like an 8-hour block of 80s horror movie trailers on YouTube. I can send you the link if you want me to. But it's just a loop of one after the other, after the other, after the other. And there's one movie that I put that on, and then I get on the treadmill and I turn my headphones up and I kind of zone out. You know, I'm not really watching the horror movie trailers. It's just something on the TV, and occasionally I'll look up and be like, oh, look at that, it's alligator. And then I'll go back to running, and then I'll look up again. Oh, it's Friday the 13th, Part 3. Very cool. And then I'll go back to running and listening to music. There's one trailer on there that kept popping up, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm 90% sure I've seen this movie, but I don't really remember what the fuck it's about. So I made it a point to pay attention for that particular trailer, which I did, get the title of the movie, track it down, and actually watch the whole goddamn thing. I'm talking about Nightmare Weekend from 1986. It's a trauma release. It does not make a lick of fucking sense. Plenty of tits and ass and strange sex scenes. Basically, you have some kind of a like mad scientist dude who's trying to, not unlike tonight's Terror Dome matchup, create like some kind of a rage aggression amplifier, but the one that he made is about the size of an egg, and it just has to get under your skin somehow. He doesn't want to test it on humans, but his assistant, who's like an evil bitch, sets up a focus group with his daughter and her friends who come up to this palatial estate, and she starts infecting them one by one with this rage egg situation. In the meantime, you got like a full-on porno arcade bar in the local town where it's perfectly acceptable to have sex with your girlfriend on the pinball machine, and nobody will interrupt you while you do so. It's bizarre. It is a bizarre movie. You have a personal security hand puppet, like a legit, like almost like a sock puppet on the young lady's dresser, and he's like, hey, I think you should not wear that outfit out. You might get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. Very weird, dude. Has anybody else seen Nightmare Weekend? I might have to actually purchase this one on Blu-ray also, just because it's bananas. It's fucking bananas. If I had seen this when I was 12, it would have been my favorite movie ever, hands down, just because of the wacky sex scenes and all the unnecessary nudity. But it's something. I found that one streaming on Tubi, if I have piqued your interest in that. And that's all I really got to watch this week, except for this week's Immersion Therapy, which I believe it is time to get into right now.
Immersion Therapy.
What'd you guys think of Silent Night from 2021? Well, that is a kick to the nuts. I don't Okay, I understand the concept. Okay, there's this bizarro poisonous gas cloud that's slowly covering the earth, and this group of friends and family get together in this fucking palatial estate somewhere in England, I believe, to basically commit suicide together on Christmas, so as to avoid the gas cloud. And apparently, this suicide thing is sanctioned by the governments because, better. I guess it's less painful to take the suicide pill than it is to inhale the poisonous gas. All right, fair enough. The only problem I have with this entire equation is how happy everybody is to do this, I guess. You know what I mean? It's like the 9-year-old kid and the pregnant lady are the only ones going, well, what if we just don't? Because this sounds miserable. But everybody else is having a great time. They're dancing. They're telling stories. They bought each other Christmas presents. Why? You're going to die in a couple hours. You're going to kill yourselves. Why are you... What the hell? You know what I mean? Like, how would... realistically speaking, how would that party not just turn into a hedonistic, drug and sex-fueled orgy type of a thing? You're going to die in a couple of hours. Why are we exchanging presents? Why are we observing a Christmas holiday? You're not going to live long enough to see New Year's. I don't know. I just found that the tone of the movie was a little strange to me because they all seemed so happy to do this. And then I think the implication at the end was that once the 9-year-old popped his eyes open, oh shit, we didn't have to kill ourselves because the poisonous gas cloud just kind of knocks you out and makes you bleed from your eyes. And then once it passes over you, you kind of do like a reset and then you're fine. Unfortunately, all these assholes took the suicide pill and wiped themselves out. So, joke's on you. You should have listened to the 9-year-old, you assholes. All right, well, that is still streaming on Tubi. If I've piqued your curiosity there, or you still want to check it out again. Keira Knightley looked all right in it. She did not look like Domino or fucking pirate lady or anything. She looked like a school marm, really. Anyway, interesting concept, I suppose. Just I found the tone to be a little off. Your immersion therapy for this week is going to be Rare Exports from 2009, directed by Jalmari Helander. This one is presently streaming on Shudder. You ever wonder what an army of naked Santa Claus look like? Check out Rare Exports, and you will find out, my friends. All right. In the meantime, check that out. We'll do the same in Compare Notes next week. But now it is time for a round of Who is Daddy?
Who is Daddy?
First, my clues from last week. I am a activist / dipshit college kid that doesn't really want to make an impact on anything, but I would like to get credit for making an impact on something. So I'm going to get with my other asswipe college friends, and we are going to fly to the Amazon and chain ourselves to some trees to try to stop deforestation. We'll make sure to live stream the whole thing and get our names out there because we don't know a fucking thing about anything. Oh, shit, our plane got shot down. Now we've been taken in by cannibals. And I think they're going to try to breed me or make me the princess of the tribe. I don't know. It involves a lot of body paint and bullet ants and one real fucking asshole. Yeah, I'm gonna nominate Alejandro to be horror's biggest douchebag. I think he takes. I think he's a bigger fuckface than Mayor Vaughn from Amity Island, and what's his name? The Paul Reiser from Burke from Aliens. At least Burke was, approachable. Alejandro's just a fucking douche. I want to punch him in his stupid face. Anyway, who might I be this week, you ask? Well, Well, I am an old school kind of a guy. And I believe I'm a comic book artist. But I am old-fashioned in that I don't want to be attached to my mobile device, i.e. my phone. And it's a good thing, too, because, damnest thing, I was at an airport one day, and some kind of a tone went over, like a cellular signal, and every fucking person that was on their phone at that time basically became a... I'm going to say zombie. Well, mental zombie. Not like an undead zombie, but a mental zombie. And all hell broke loose from there. Me and a few other people who also happen not to believe in cell phones, or were just lucky enough to either have our phones die at that time, or just not be on the phone at all at that time, managed to kind of get together and hang out. We ducked into a hotel for a little while, and then... slowly, like an intelligent kind of fucking almost hive mind started to appear in these people that are seemingly brain dead. And they are definitely trying to kill me and my survivors here. Oh, shit. Who might I be, you ask? Tune in next week, and I'll drop some knowledge on you, inmates. In the meantime, I think that's about going to do it for me this week. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, of course, wherever you found this show. That helps our visibility quite a bit. We do have a Patreon campaign going. Just go over to paddedroompodcast.com. You'll find all the info you need about that. T-shirts, links to previous shows, all 707 of them, not including side shows, affiliate programs, little spin-off ideas that we've had over the years, and all the other nonsense you'll find right there. And I think that's about it for me. Join me next week. Hopefully somebody else will be here with me for Tenebrae, finishing off Dario Argento month. For our Italian listeners, wherever they may be, if there are any, 16-year-olds who should definitely keep their shirts on, anorexics. Get yourself a goddamn cheeseburger, why don't you? They're amazing. They're delicious. And the Padded Room Podcast, I'm afraid visiting hours are over.